It's a sprint to the finish line for Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Trump. Today, both candidates are holding rallies in the key battleground state of Michigan. And so far, it has been a fierce battle. New reports, meanwhile, say that Harris's team is getting nervous over Trump's gains just 18 days out from the election. Who can believe it? Hello, everyone. It's Friday. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany, and joining me today is Dagan McDowell, Fox Business anchor and co-host of The Bottom Line on Fox Business, Tammy Bruce, Fox News contributor and president of American Spirit Enterprises, Dr. Nicole Saphier, Fox News contributor and board-certified physician, and Patrick J. Murphy, 32nd Under Secretary of the Army and former Pennsylvania congressman. Well, reports of anxiety and all-out panic are beginning, and it could have Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign spun up just a few days out from the election as time is running out. The New York Post reporting that Democrats in Pennsylvania, that all-important state, say that Harris is, quote, AWOL and being out-messaged. These are Democrats saying this. This as Reuters claims that anxiety is rising in the VP's campaign over Trump's swing state gains. And Democrats are telling Politico that they see warning signs for Harris with Latino men in the must-win state of Pennsylvania. You know, Dagan, one thing I love to do, and maybe it's because I was in press and comms, is read behind the headlines. And when you have Democrats coming out with anxiety, leaking to publications on the state, Pennsylvania Democrats, national Democrats, it usually is a sign that there's some nerve-wracking appetites happening in the campaign.
Right, and I also love to read into what the Senate candidates are saying. And if you look at, let's just look at Michigan, for example. So in the Real Clear Politics average in Michigan, President Trump is up by almost 1 full point, 0.9 points. Alyssa Slotkin up over Mike Rogers, 2.2 points in that state. And both of them, the big issue, and so you take a national issue, like the economy and inflation, and then you boil it down to each state issue. In Pennsylvania, it's fracking. Again,
yes.
Ban fracking. She's tried to reverse that. But in Michigan, it is the EV mandate, the electric vehicle mandate, that is a job destroyer for auto workers. And it's something that no American wants because they don't want to be told, oh, you cannot drive a car or a pickup truck with an internal combustion engine in it. So both Alyssa Slotkin, who's running for Senate as a Democrat, and Kamala Harris have said both, I will never tell you what kind of car you have to drive. Yeah, you have. She has, because the EPA tailpipe emissions regulation essentially mandates, it's a de facto mandate, that 2/3 of the vehicles in 8 years in the United States of America must be partially electric or fully electric. That is a mandate, and that is a killer for Kamala Harris and Alyssa Slotkin just in the state of Michigan.
Well, Kayleigh, Dagan's making a very good point here, because Kamala Harris did come out in 2019 for these EV mandates. Now she's backing off on them a little bit, like she's doing with fracking, because she wants to get elected. But they're still being very savvy when it comes to these battleground states, because as we saw under the Inflation Reduction Act, just in Michigan alone, they've promised about $500 million to GM Motors. And so you have the unionized workers there saying, the union saying, if we don't get that handout from the IRA, if that goes away under a Trump presidency, jobs are going to be lost. So it's really like, waving this little shiny thing in front of voters saying, you need to vote for this now or lose jobs tomorrow. But that's so short-sighted, and they're not looking at the long term and what will come, because with a Kamala Harris presidency will come these EV mandates, and it will be a long-term demise of the auto industry.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens. But Patrick, going back to Democrats in panic, I wanted to put up the national numbers for you. This is Real Clear Politics. This is average of polling, so you can't, dissect one poll. This is the average. And what you see nationally is Kamala Harris with a 1.6% lead. Okay, you say, but Biden had an 8.9% lead in 2020, and Clinton, who went on to lose, I would remind our viewers, had a 7.1% lead. Like, have they recalibrated polls? Who knows? That would make me jittery. Also, moments before coming to air, I see Bob Casey, your senator in Pennsylvania, up with an ad that literally says, Casey supports Trump's trade order. So when the Democrat candidate starts professing support for Trump, what does that say?
Well, first of all, Bob Casey is a great American and supporting Kamala Harris. But I hear you. There's
but
professional,
for a policy, not for him as a candidate.
Right,
for policy.
Right. And listen, I was on the air here saying some of the Trump tariffs were good. His rhetoric this week were not good when he says, John Deere, we're going to tariff you 200% just because 75% of manufacturing is in America. As far as Michigan goes, let's be very clear. GM, I drive a Jeep, right? The GM parent company, or GM and Jeep, they are investing $250 million in Michigan, like making manufacturing cars. So that's a positive thing. And I would say it's not just during an election. I mean, I know Dagan mentioned fracking. Kamala Harris has been part of a team that has made it the largest increase in oil production, natural gas production in American history.
No, we
That's
were
their
energy
record.
independent under Trump. It was a totally different policy. And this was someone who said repeatedly she wanted to ban fracking and then pivoted, oh, wait, because she has to win voters.
Kaylee, it was 9 million barrels a day under Trump. It's now 13.2 million barrels a day of oil produced in America.
That's on private land. That's on private land. It's not because of anything that the government did.
It's oil production, because the government doesn't run
It's on private land.
Dagan, can you explain the difference?
They have restricted vastly the number of federal leases in the United States. They were required to issue leases under the Inflation Reduction Act, and it is a bare minimum. I think it's like 4, maybe, I will look at the exact numbers, but the vast majority of oil production has come from what are called DUCs, drilled but uncompleted wells, which were drilled before Joe Biden and Kamala Harris took office. So those were already drilled. They didn't require new leases, number one, and the production has come from private land, not government land, largely, vast majority.
Really quick, Willow Project last summer, 500,000 barrels a day up in Alaska. And the left gave Biden and Kamala a hard time, but the reality is that's what they did, and that's why we have this.
Biden-Harris is a benefit of the ingenuity of the private sector, their own incompetence notwithstanding. But look at this, Tammy. Democrats in panic nationally, and then you want to pull up the real clear politics swing state averages. Look at this. Trump is winning in every single swing state. It's in the margin of error. It is narrow. It is indeed a close race. All of that is true. But if I am Kamala Harris, this makes me very, very nervous because I am underperforming Biden 4 years ago.
Right. And the trend, of course, she at one point was ahead in a majority of those states.
Yes.
Again, but within the margin of error. So we've seen a trend from the beginning of Donald Trump. They did all kinds of things, raided Mar-a-Lago, sitting in a trial, being indicted, being convicted. None of it affected him. Getting shot, almost, shot at twice. None of it affected his trajectory. It's been a consistent move up. So I think what's happened is people do realize they know him. He's performed through all of this. None of this is a surprise. But Harris has not performed. People were waiting, including after the debate, thinking, well, at the debate, we'll get some specifics. The focus groups after the debate were, we still didn't hear anything. The Bret Baier interview, of course, is like that was another opportunity to decide to be honest. Did not happen. Even in the dinner last night with the video, she could have been funny herself. Didn't do it. So what we're hearing with these leaks about her staff and that she's not there, she's not participating, mirrors what we heard from her staff that constantly left when as being in the White House as vice president. It's the same kind of complaints. Not engaged, not participating. We're lost. We don't have direction. It mirrors those complaints. It's not a surprise.
They also got nervous, too, when she failed to get some of the key endorsements from some of the organized unions that Joe Biden got before. And that really does show that there is a break with union leaders and its members. And that's why it's probably
very quick. In Pennsylvania, 2 days ago, in Washington's Crossing, Bucks County, my hometown, we had endorsements from Republicans. Republican Governor Whitman. You had Adam Kinzinger, you had Liz Cheney, you had Charlie Dent, who represents Lehigh Valley. So you had dozens of Republicans that were endorsed her.
I'm pretty sure if Trump were sitting here now, he would say, you can take those endorsements, I'll take my poll numbers, and I'll take my 1-point advantage in voter registration nationally, and I'll take the chaos in the Trump in the Kamala campaign.
And I will take Republican President Trump pro-energy agenda. 3 offshore lease sales scheduled in the next 5 years, the fewest in history. history. That's Biden and Harris.
Dagan brings the receipts. Don't mess with Dagan McDowell.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.